All right, so this is one I'm really curious to get your take on because I know you come from with the background of dealing with barns and farms and things, but then also with your construction knowledge. So, talk to me about barndominiums, this kind of craze that's happened, and what are the pros and cons of living in one of these or building one of these? What are the complexities? What are your overall kind of thoughts on
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, barndominiums are cool. I remember when I met my best friend Cooper when we worked at Morton Buildings. That was 100 years ago. But that's when barndominiums really was introduced to me, and I was like, "What the heck's a barndominium?" And they're like, "Well, it's a pole barn that you live in, like a condominium." They made it cute. And I was like, "Man, what a concept!" So we're building houses and barns. Like we have that option. They're like, "Yeah." The juggernaut back then was banks did not want to lend on them at all. They couldn't see the ROI. They couldn't. There's a thousand reasons probably, but it was very, very difficult to get a true barn dominium, years ago, pushed through as a traditional house. So I didn't sell, I sold several, but not a ton of them back then. The more things, advanced, like today, I mean, building a barn dominium's like building a house now. And there's a lot of guys that do it. We do it. It's like a Lincoln log set. You can make it however you want. You can make your house as small as you want, your shop as big as you want, or vice versa. A lot of guys, like a lot of mechanics, have done that. A lot of excavate people that have large equipment, they'll have a barn dominium, and you just have this big wall that just separates your house and your shop, and you hope the diesel smell doesn't get into your house and stuff like that. But I mean, the concept is wonderful. A lot of people will build a barn dominium and they're happy as pie. I mean, you talk about an open concept house. I mean, you could clear span 100 feet with a truss. You could have just a huge open space if you wanted to, and partition it off however you want to. I know there's several barn dominiums that we've worked on. Usually we're a sub for that. Like we'll do the interior frame out build outs. I got a guy that does all my pole barns for me. So he'll do all the shell, if you will, and then we'll take the inside, the infrastructure, concrete, driveway, septic, all that stuff we'll handle. But yeah, Tim, he'll build the shell for us, or we'll have Odin build the shell for us, or FBI or Morton, whoever. It's usually a pole barn. It's really or post frame construction is what I like to call it. And yeah, you can make one heck of a house with a barn dominium style. I feel like you get a lot of square footage for a very economical price. It's not really the same square footage typically as a custom built home. It can be, but not usually. The outside you can spruce up like a house. You can have steel siding, or you can have masonry, or you can have there's different things you can do to it, but it's still a post frame construction home. There's pros and cons to that. However, in Indiana, I mean, you can insulate a post frame building as effective as you could a custom built home. So there are pros and cons to it. There's advantages to it. Like I said, the square footage. I mean, you can get a bigger home or a bigger square footage living space. Probably a better way of putting it. A little more economical than you would, a walkout basement, 2-story brick home. There's just differences. So it's really kind of what you want. A lot of people like to have all their stuff in one spot, so it's a great idea. Your boat is just right out in the huge garage or shop space you walk out to. You can have huge family gatherings, parties, you name it. It's really neat if that's what you're into. We probably get 3 or 4 calls a year on that. We probably do maybe one a year like that. We're really more in the residential side, but we do a lot of the build outs of that stuff. And they come to us to do their kitchens, their bathrooms, the floors, just basically build the inside of the house. So we really enjoy those. What I like about it is I get to work with Tim, other builders. We get to kind of work on the same project, and it's kind of like getting the band back together, so to speak. So that's kind of fun. But have you ever been in a barn dominium?
I don't think I've ever been inside one. I've seen some really neat ones,
Yeah.
and I know. I mean, you see them online all the time. I feel like maybe it's not the case anymore. But wasn't the initial idea behind it that like with property taxes, it was like rated differently, so wasn't it considered a residential home, so you paid less in property taxes or some. There was
I don't.
something where that was why they kind of started becoming popular.
I'm
but-
sure that's probably accurate. I don't know that to be true, but I'm sure there's probably several benefits that we may not even know. Like a lot of farmers will do that, and that's probably ties back to what you just asked. I think you probably could write that whole thing off. I don't know. I'm not a tax guy, but a lot of ag guys would do barn dominiums. A lot of excavating guys that had trucks and stuff like that. It just seemed to make sense. A lot of bachelors had barn dominiums. I know there's a few families here in town that's done them, and they're beautiful. They're gorgeous homes. On the inside, you'd never know you're in a post frame building. And it's just it is cool. If that's your thing, do it because I think it's a pretty cool move. But if I were to guess, I bet it's a little less than building a custom stick-built home would be my guess.
I feel like that was kind of where the container, like the shipping container homes
Yeah.
were going to. Like that was becoming a thing during COVID. It kind of fell apart. I think they had less of them.
A guy did that in Canby, right behind Menards. I don't know what that road is, and it's actually really, really cool. He did it all out of shipping containers. I bet it's cold in the wintertime. I don't know.
I'd like to know what was in that shipping container before. I'm living in it too.
I wonder how loud, if it's echoey. I don't know. I mean, yeah, a lot of people have done that, but yeah, I don't know. A barn dominium sounds pretty cool. I've never lived in one. I know people that do, but yeah, it's definitely a good move.